We're back now with Cindy, George, and Darren Curtis. Their 21-year-old son, Jake, fell victim to an online sextortion scheme, and just days later, he took his own life. His parents are sharing his story in hopes of warning others about this. The local sheriff's department says that they traced the blackmailer back to the Philippines, but the authorities there, they say, would not cooperate. We spoke with Sheriff Robert Decker of the Millard County Sheriff's Office regarding Cindy's criticism that she feels not enough was done to investigate her son's death. And here is what the sheriff had to say.
I'm sure she wanted to go farther into it than we could. I'm sure she wanted to go right back and even have us go to the Philippines, but without cooperation and more information there, we didn't do that. We couldn't do that. Sometimes you have to direct that anger at somebody because it makes you feel better. And if it's at me because of that reason it makes her feel better, okay, we'll take that. But the investigation was done. It was thorough, and it's a sad story.
Do you agree with that the investigation was done and it was thorough?
No, I don't. I feel like if it had been their own child, you bet they would have done more to try and find this person. Yeah. But my child matters, and I feel like they had a lot of evidence that he left on his phone that they asked him to delete. And he said, no, I'm not going to delete it. I want my family to know why I did this.
He specifically said, I'm going to leave these clues. I won't delete my account. The blackmailer said, delete the account. And you can see Jake say, I refuse. It was interesting. That's where he drew the line. You know, He tried to give them all the money. He tried to shut them down. But he knew at some level there had to be accountability for what was happening. And yet there hasn't been. There hasn't been. Is it because the local sheriff hasn't done more in your view, or is it because the Philippines has refused to look into it?
I'm not sure which it is. I feel like they did get the MoneyGrams where he sent the money. Yep. They did get a list of names and found out this person has extorted $26,000. They said there was some guy on the East Coast that's paid $15,000 to this one person. I feel like, why can't we go in there? Why can't the U.S. go in there and do something? Mm-hmm. I found out that I did research, and in 2012, there was a 17-year-old who took his life the same reason, and Scotland Yard went in there and busted up a ring about this. And so why can't the U.S. go in and bust up a ring? Mm-hmm. I just feel
or
like...
Why won't the Philippines do it? Why wouldn't the Philippines be interested in catching criminals within their own borders, especially when it's a United States victim, and we give the Philippines $291 million a year, right?
Exactly.
Joining me now is Sergeant Jeffrey Plank of the Utah Department of Public Safety, assigned to the FBI Cyber Task Force in Salt Lake City. Sergeant, good to see you. What about that? I mean, why is it our responsibility in the United States to go to the Philippines and get this guy? Why wouldn't they? This is an ally of ours. Why wouldn't they crack down on this problem and go get the person who was responsible for this?
That's a great question. I don't know that they know what's going on. They may know what's going on, but as law enforcement, we're reactionary, and so we will go where the complaints are. And so as Department of Public Safety, we've teamed up with the FBI so that we can utilize the legal attaché program to be able to access and investigate cases that kind of extend across the...
Well, something has to be done here. I mean, whether it has to be brought to Senator Mike Lee of Utah, something must be done. You can't just have American citizens taking their own lives, young people taking their own lives as the victim of extortion when we know who the perpetrator is, and just a collective shoulder shrug, like, oh, well, that's not good enough. That's not good enough for any United States citizen. To those who are saying that this is not easy for them, as you know, there are other parents out there who are worried right now, and there are other kids who are vulnerable. When you're 21, especially as a young man, you're not fully cooked yet. You don't have that sort of maturity to put this kind of thing in perspective. So what do people need to know about protecting themselves?
Well, the first thing I would suggest to everybody is do not send nude photos of yourself to anybody. Do not get in front of a camera or a webcam and remove your clothing.
In fact, they say to put the sticker over the camera on your computer, because some people can hack in and photograph you or video you even when you don't know. Sorry, go ahead.
Exactly. So, I mean, that would be my first suggestion. Don't do that. If you don't do that, you won't ever become a victim. If you are a victim of this hideous scam, I would suggest you cease all communication. That would be the first recommendation. The bad guy is not going to share those photos with anybody until he's gotten his money. That would be the first thing. Cease all communication. Second thing is then quickly capture what you can from that communication.
Hold your evidence.
A profile pic, any other information that might be helpful for the investigation. The last thing would be to contact the social media company, let them know what happened, and then delete your account immediately.
And contact the authorities.
Exactly. Contact law enforcement, and then also file a report on the Internet Crimes Complaint Center, ic3.gov.
Honestly, it's like as embarrassed as these kids may be, it's a nothing. They need to remember the grand scheme of life. It's a nothing, and they have so much life ahead of them. Loving parents who bravely speak out on their behalf, even when they're gone. Thank you. We'll follow up.
Thank you.
We'll stay on it. Want to let you know that NBC News reached out to Kik, the messaging service, regarding our segment. The company said in response, quote, "We take online safety very seriously, and we're constantly assessing and improving our trust and safety measures." Their statement went on to say users have the option to block other users, and Kik removes users if they violate its standards of conduct. They say they also try to educate adults and teens to understand the challenges of today's online landscape. Well, I'd like to know more. Have they deleted this guy's account? These perpetrators pop up under different names. What's being done to make sure this guy hasn't popped up under another name and is doing this to somebody else? They bear responsibility too. Want to tell you that if you or someone you know is contemplating or having thoughts about taking your own life, please contact the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. There is help for you at 1-800-273-8255. We also have information on our website, which is today.com/MegynToday. All the best to you.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.